the ability or willingness to carry out cognitive tasks such as problem solving, maintaining attention, dictating emotions, focusing, and making decisions is called mental energy. We need mental energy just as much as we need physical energy to climb a set of stairs or lift a heavy object. It is the fuel reserve that you need to apply your focus muscle. How well you manage your mental energy determines how effectively your focus muscle works. Therefore, it is essential to learn to manage your mental energy. Brain fog and the inability to focus are common symptoms of low mental energy. A lack of mental energy can be caused by various factors, such as being pulled in many directions at once, having to juggle personal, family, and work obligations, or simply being overstimulated by your surroundings. Do you know how your muscles get tired and need a break when you work out? Or are you attempting to persuade yourself not to complete the final rep? The same principles apply to the workings of the brain. To improve your ability to focus, you must first train your brain. Focused, uninterrupted time spent on one task is what training is all about. This is the number of repetitions in a set you perform when working out. To train means to practice the skill repeatedly. You want to be able to enter a state of flow at least a few times a day. This is how many sets you do at the gym. Each muscle has a finite amount of strength, either diminishing from inactivity or growing stronger from purposeful exercise. Both require rest after intense exertion to restore their strength and stamina. You get the same feeling of internal dread/doubt right before starting an intense workout, the one that says, "I'm not sure I want to do this," as you do right before deciding whether or not to read a long article, and in both cases, you have to make up your mind, bite down, and get started. Clear thinking patterns how sharply and efficiently your mind processes information? We can help improve this through efficient mental models. Thinking requires mental energy. We waste a lot of energy overthinking things or thinking about things that don't matter. Mental models make your thinking more effective by simplifying complicated concepts and making decision-making faster and easier. Smart information management. We are bombarded with a tremendous amount of information every day, and this sometimes tends to blur our thinking. The key to clear thinking is managing all the information adroitly. You need to adopt a smart information management system so that you can use every piece of information to your advantage. Here are some problems our brain is facing today. Information overload. The information we have access to has grown exponentially. We have greater access to information than we have ever had in all of the histories of humanity. With the advent of the Internet, almost every comprehensible information is available at your fingertips. If you want to find out a particular recipe, just Google it. Looking for information on Mars? Just visit the NASA website or a similar erudite online resource. You can literally find extensive material on any subject and feed the information to your brain till you get tired. But what happens when you demand more from your brain than its capacity? When the brain is repeatedly asked to do more than it can, the result is always mental exhaustion. As a result, this is the major effect of information overload, in which the mind cannot keep up with the massive amount of data it must process. Mental fatigue causes decreased productivity, increased dissatisfaction due to failure, and stress from hard labor or comparison to peers. 7. Think about it. When you are extremely tired, you will not be able to work with your usual gusto or passion. A stressful state of mind will not only delay the decision-making process, but also you from taking action. Weakened focus. Our mind can only process a particular amount of information at a given point in time. When we try to feed irrelevant or unrequired information to it at the time of making important decisions, it would lead to unnecessary stress. For example, when you see an unread email while doing a task, your effective IQ drops to 10 points. 8. Even young individuals, who have grown up in a world awash with online distractions, appear to require unbroken periods to execute difficult activities effectively. As a clear sign, this weakens your focus when your mind cannot process the right information at the right time. Therefore, when you need to process more information for a decision, you need to divert your focus to the quality of information rather than the quantity. When you do not practice information quality control, the additional information will mess up the thinking process. Chaotic information. Our mind is filled with chaotic amounts of information. Some ideas are relevant and beneficial, while others are irrelevant and counterproductive. These include random facts, commercials, and everyday news. Every minute, numerous thoughts are churned out of the human mind, which works like a vast factory of welcome and unwelcome thoughts. However, waves of activity sweep your cortex at night, eliminating anything that hasn't been labeled to be stored. 9. Since there is too much information, our brain often gets confused with processing the necessary information. Our task is to carefully separate the thoughts and only focus on the useful ones while ignoring the others. A simple system to manage information proactively. The human brain has a clever mechanism for identifying crucial events. It picks out a few items we see or hear and holds on to them, examining them more thoroughly to make sense of them. This is called selective attention, meaning paying close attention to only a few of the items our senses detect. This keeps us from becoming overwhelmed by the many things we see, hear, and feel. Paying attention, according to neuroscientists, consists of two parts: picking important things out of the continual flow of information that reaches our senses, for example, sight, hearing, and touch, and safeguarding these important things from being overridden by less important pieces of informa. Selective attention is the best way to filter unnecessary information and process the important information. To understand what information your mind needs to retain and what doesn't, here's what you can do. 1. When seeking information on the internet, keep a clear goal. Decide beforehand what specific information you will seek on the internet. Do not let distractions divert your attention. You don't have to pay attention to everything that you read or see. Learn to keep integrating the data to help you avoid knowledge gaps. One of the best ways to keep focus while searching the internet is to maintain an external digital file to collect the relevant information. Alternatively, you can also use a writing pad to keep notes of only the required information. This would allow us to stay focused on the goals and only peruse the relevant information. 2. Do not give attention to all the information you review. Not every piece of information you gather will be relevant. Your prime focus should be only on details or information that is related to the task at hand. Avoid giving attention to everything line by line. You can skip through the sections or segments that are irrelevant. It would help you save time, and more importantly, you can stay focused on finding the required information. 3. Process information with an open and objective mind. One of the prime purposes of information gathering is to gather knowledge. Had you already been aware of the subject, you wouldn't have scouted elsewhere. Therefore, while processing the information, you must avoid making assumptions and look at the information with an open and objective mind. It would help you make a judicious and informed decision. 4. Organize the information you receive so that you may read less and think more deeply. Bottom line is, if you do not use it or need it, it's clutter, and it needs to go. Charisse Ward. Organizing the information will help study the details properly. You can start by eliminating all the non-essential emails from your inbox. If needed, you can also use technology like Google Docs or Word documents to remember information that you don't need for an immediate task. 5. Take regular breaks for your brain to avoid information overload. Breaks can help to decrease or prevent stress, help to sustain performance throughout the day, and lessen the need for a long recuperation at the end of the day, according to studies. If you want to improve your focus, then try disconnecting from the internet and going entirely offline. Also, try to meditate once a day, right before going to bed. According to some studies, meditation and mindfulness techniques may have an impact on the brain's structure and function. Mindfulness is the practice of paying attention on purpose, moment by minute, to one's internal and external experiences, including thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations, as well as the external world. An active inquiry into the nature and functioning of the mind, awareness meditation draws on T. You can use these key elements to improve awareness and mindfulness. Clear intention. Having clear intentions resonates with being aware and in control of what you're doing and why you're doing it. Most people are led by their thoughts instead of leading their thoughts. It means they passively follow every thread of thought without really being aware of it. It's amazing and baffling how our minds work. It aids in the development of creative approaches to challenging issues. When we think back on a past experience, we can relive it in vivid detail, even if we weren't physically present at the time. However, one's own ideas have the potential to confine one with worry, stress, and terror. 14. The mind may be a dangerous place if not kept in check. You're stuck in a never-ending loop of self-doubt that keeps you from trying anything new. That way of thinking prevents you from seeing the world and taking the necessary steps toward success. 1. Be aware of what you're doing and why you're doing it. A growing body of evidence suggests that focusing on the here and now, both in terms of one's internal experiences and those of the external world, can have positive effects on mental health. 15. That's why it's crucial to master the art of mental self-discipline. For instance, you suddenly feel hungry and start thinking about what to eat for dinner, leading you to think of what you ate last night, etc. All this can be termed as an internal distraction. Some thoughts that occur to you that fall under the category of stuff you could be doing right now. The mind is a fickle thing, it wanders, but thankfully, we have the power to identify such internal distractions and work towards eliminating them as far as possible. When the mind is not at peace, This is the main cause of internal distraction because you are expending huge amounts of mental energy thinking about things other than what you're supposed to be focusing on. When your mind is in the midst of making a mental shift from one task to the next is when you are most vulnerable to distract. When switching gears, you could decide to do something only for a moment, but your brain quickly becomes engrossed in the new task. So, how to do it? To begin, understand that you can only choose your response to adversity. Focus on what you can do right now to achieve the outcomes you desire. Stop dwelling on things you don't have control of at the moment. Simply prepare for the best. 2. Setting priority. You can only set priorities if you have a clear intention. Otherwise, all priorities seem important simultaneously. While we like prioritizing our tasks, we frequently overlook what is truly important. Rather than focusing on urgent but ineffective tasks, consider which activities yield the best results. Prioritizing entails cohesively organizing all of your activities. You prioritize them based on their importance and utility. This enables you to make the most efficient use of your resources and energy. You begin by focusing on the most significant aspects of the situation. Then you work your way forward until all of your day's resources have been depleted. The most important task receives the most attention this way. To prioritize effectively, try the superstructure method. Before commencing on any project at Lifehack, we always follow a simple foundation. We might start by simplifying things by doing it as a fast exercise. From this list, we categorize them into one of three things: must-haves, absolutely critical to achieving the objective. Without it, the result we want is meaningless. Should-haves, important but not critical. However, leaving it out may lessen the quality of the final result. Good-to-haves, having it is nice, but not including it won't have any negative impact on our objective. The superstructure method provides us with incredible clarity and focus, ensuring that the resources we invest are always put to the best possible use. We use it for things like research, learning new skills, and even meetings because it's so handy. One of the best things about using the superstructure method is that you can apply it to every aspect of life. Even though the idea of superstructure started from the work at Lifehack, now it is used everywhere. For example, you can apply the simple steps while moving houses, planning a holiday, creating a diet plan, or chalking out your exercise schedule.